Most people live for the roar of the crowd, the surge of excitement when a last-minute goal decides everything. Cities erupt in unison, and fans feel connected in a way that seems universal. But some people feel nothing when the world celebrates. The big game comes and goes, and they simply don't get the hype. If you've ever sat in a room full of screaming football fans and felt like an outsider, you're not strange. You're one of many who just don't watch football or any mainstream sport. And there are clear psychological reasons why. First, if you're not into football, you're far from alone. Surveys show that over a third of Americans watch little to no sports in a typical week. So despite how it may seem on Super Bowl Sunday, not everyone is glued to the screen. Still, if you're the one person in your friend group who couldn't care less about the score, you know the quizzical looks and the questions like, how can you not watch? It can feel like you're missing a universal experience, but in truth, your brain just values different things. One key trait many non-watchers share is a strong sense of independence. When everyone else zigs, you're comfortable zagging. You don't feel compelled to like something just because it's popular. While millions may treat football as sacred, you might shrug and say it's not your thing. Psychologically, this can come from a non-conformist streak, a desire to make choices based on your own interests rather than social pressure. In a way, it's a quiet rebellion. Society nudges us to join the football fever, so choosing not to participate can be a form of asserting your identity. It's a way of saying you decide what matters to you. This mindset often comes with confidence in your own values. Rather than following the herd, you find fulfillment in carving your own path, spending your time where it feels meaningful. Another factor is focus and alternative passions. The average American man spends nearly 6 hours a week watching sports. If you're not watching, that's 6 extra hours for something else. And people who skip football usually do fill that time with interests they genuinely care about. Maybe you play music, read novels, code an app, or practice a sport yourself instead of watching others play. This reflects a personality that finds fulfillment in personal experiences over spectator events. You might prefer creating or learning over observing. Your brain rewards you when you dive into your passions, and that satisfaction feels far more meaningful than any touchdown. You seek direct engagement and personal growth, while a sports fan engages vicariously through a team. Neither is better or worse, they're simply different ways of finding joy. Emotional wiring plays a role too. Sports fandom puts people on an emotional roller coaster. Victories make fans euphoric, and losses can genuinely hurt. Fans often feel their team's success and failure as if it were their own. If you're not a football watcher, you've stepped off that roller coaster. Your mood isn't tied to a scoreboard. You avoid the stress and heartache that come with intense fandom, focusing your emotional energy on things you can control. You may miss out on the big highs, but you also avoid the painful lows. Your weekends remain emotionally steady and peaceful. And that's a perfectly valid choice. But there's also the social aspect. Sports often act as a social glue. Fans bond through shared identity, rituals, and celebrations. If you don't engage, you might occasionally feel out of the loop. When coworkers recap game highlights, you might have nothing to add. At a viewing party, you might find yourself gravitating toward the snacks or the quiet corner. Yet many non-fans handle this with humor or honesty. Often people respect that authenticity. And importantly, non-football fans tend to form community elsewhere. You might connect through music, gaming, volunteering, creative hobbies, or clubs that align with your interests. You're not lacking a social life, you're just finding belonging in different places. Personality plays a big role as well. Many people who aren't drawn to football are introverts. A typical game environment is loud, crowded, and full of intense energy. For extroverts, that's exhilarating. For introverts, it can be overwhelming. It's not that introverts dislike all group settings, but the intensity of major sporting events may feel draining. Many non-watchers prefer quiet or smaller-scale activities that replenish their energy, like reading, hiking, or spending time with a close friend. It's simply a difference in temperament, not a flaw. Personal experiences or values can also shape the choice. Some people had negative experiences with sports growing up, such as pressure, ridicule, or exclusion. Others may disagree with aspects of sports culture, like extreme competition, merchandising, or scandals. Some prefer cooperation over rivalry and feel disconnected from the idea of celebrating a win achieved by others. For some, avoiding football is a moral or philosophical decision as much as a personal preference. Ultimately, people who don't watch football aren't joyless or antisocial, nor are they missing out. Instead, they are often comfortable in their own skin. They know that just because the crowd is doing something doesn't mean they have to. They pursue what genuinely interests them, even if it's off the beaten path. They tend to form deep connections, invest their emotions intentionally, and build happiness on personal foundations rather than team victories. There is a quiet confidence in not watching football when everyone else is. It's like standing in a stadium of cheering people while being content with your own rhythm. The psychology behind this shows the beauty of diverse interests and temperaments. Society thrives because people find joy in different things. Some paint while others play ball. Some immerse themselves in stories while others track player statistics. That diversity is what makes humanity vibrant. So, the next time the crowd goes wild and you don't feel it, remember that your perspective is valid. You're simply experiencing life on a different frequency. In a world obsessed with the big game, you've discovered other games, other stories, and other meanings that excite you. Staying true to that isn't missing out. It's living your version of joy and connection. While the world celebrates on the field, you celebrate elsewhere in ways that matter to you. And that is something worth appreciating.